Well, once again, welcome back to Morning Manna. We're looking this week at what it means to have Jesus at the center. One of the most persistent and also most troubling sin issues in humankind is an inaccurate self-perception, or simply put, pride. Pride means that we do not understand or know ourselves as we truly are. And it also means that we incorrectly judge how others see us as well. We're all familiar with the stereotypical pride, right? People who have an overinflated sense of self-importance and they think way more of themselves and way more about themselves than they really should. Obviously, the Bible warns us against this, and we're familiar with many of the passages that address this. Proverbs 16:18 says, "Pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall." We're familiar with that. Proverbs 29:23 says that one's pride will bring him low, but he who is lowly in spirit will obtain honor. Yesterday, I mentioned Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 2, and I want to encourage you to look at that with me again. He says, "Be not rash with your mouth, nor let your heart be hasty to utter a word before God. For God is in heaven, and you are on earth. Therefore, let your words be few." When we understand how amazing God truly is, how great and powerful and wise and limitless, we should be humbled. The one who has Jesus at the center of their life recognizes that God is big and they are small, and actively fights against having an overly inflated view of themselves. So that's the stereotypical version of pride, but how often do we think of pride operating the other way as well? When someone struggles with self-esteem, negative self-image, and fears that everyone thinks and talks badly about them. It turns out that that's pride as well. And the Bible speaks to this just the same. Genesis 1:27 says that God made humankind in his image. This is true of no other living creature. In Psalm 139, verse 14, David says, "I am fearfully and wonderfully made." And then we find in Ephesians 2, verse 10, it says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works." So just as arrogance stems from an inaccurate view of oneself, so does low self-worth. Be encouraged. God says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You're his workmanship, made in his image. That's huge. And when Jesus is at the center, he deals with our pride, whichever way it goes, and helps us see ourselves the way that God sees us. Let's pursue Jesus being at the center of our lives. Bless you, Manna Church.